right, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight on the Real Short Box Live. My name is Donald, and you should know everybody by now. Over here is Kevin, just below is Darren, and over there in the corner is our special guest, Julio. Julio Galvez from We Can Be Heroes Comics. Thanks for joining us, Julio.
Of course, anytime.
And we're going to be here talking about the Snyder Cut. And no, that's not an expensive piece of meat. It is actually the Justice League's, Zack Snyder's cut of the Justice League, trying to redeem himself from what most people thought was an inferior team superhero film.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of the few people I feel like I didn't really hate the Justice League, mostly because I could see the potential that they were working with. Yeah. But it was rather underwhelming. I think Steppenwolf was a very strange villain to pick. I think the way that the team came together was very bizarre. We really hadn't even established Aquaman. We hadn't established the Flash. We had not established Cyborg. We basically had only established Batman and Superman. And this movie takes place right after Batman versus Superman, which is kind of, I guess you could say, another one of those films that's a little controversial for comic book fans because just didn't blow anyone away. So, yeah, I don't know what direction they were going with this, but I'm curious with this Snyder Cut. Warner Brothers has thrown an additional $80 million into this, so clearly there's got to be something of intrigue here.
$80 million, that's a lot.
It is, but I honestly think it's all publicity stunt to get the streaming service off the ground. I don't think really they plan to do anything with it in the future, which is kind of a bummer. Which kind of takes me to a place where I'm like, if they're not going to do anything with it, how good could it possibly be?
Well, the overlords of their new owners, AT&T, sent down the edict for them to do this. And yes, it is about boosting up HBO Max, no doubt about it. You know, they see what Disney Plus is doing. They see the kind of business that's being done there. They're seeing the power of Netflix. You know, this is a way to compete in this new 21st century marketplace of streaming. Basically, it's the streaming wars. We're basically right in the middle of it right now. Who's going to dominate this new platform?
And to be fair, I mean, having a few of these streaming services myself, not just my opinion, other people who are in my family, they prefer HBO Max. They said the library is the best. It rotates the most titles. Clearly, it has all of Warner Media there. So if you're into DC, if you're into various other Warner or HBO projects, they're all there. But also too, I mean, it has the library of HBO films that are currently being shown on HBO channels. So they do cross-pollinate. They do more than just Warner Brothers and HBO, which I think is a big draw, because even though Disney, of course, has Fox and National Geographic, I mean, they are still limited in that sense. HBO is really not limited. They can put whatever they want. And I don't know. I think it's a good service. And I'm halfway tempted to skip out on the big showing of Kong versus Godzilla and just staying home and watching it on HBO Max.
True.
Yeah, that's true. Plus, you have all classic HBO TV shows there, too. If anyone's never watched The Sopranos or The Wire before, or even the once great Game of Thrones, you can now watch it at any time you wish.
Hey, Maria. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Maria.
Okay, so for those that can't tell, I have a really wicked sinus thing going on. It's awesome. It's that time of year. Love the weather. So if I seem a bit hazy, it's because I loaded up on Benadryl. So it's going to
So did I. Loaded up on tons of it.
Donald has become comfortably numb.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Enrique. How you doing, buddy? Chris Turner says he just finished West Wing on HBO Max.
Oh, nice.
That's not a short-run series. I think, that's pretty cool that they have all those things available.
17 seasons, right?
Jeez. Really? That long?
17 seasons. I think it was 8 or 9, which might as well be 17 seasons.
That seemed like ER was like 17 seasons.
ER's still going on, buddy.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, it's actually, ER, I believe, was...
Isn't it?
Almost 19 or 20.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. Grey's Anatomy is still going on. That's what it is. Which feels
Grey's Anatomy is season 18.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember working at the ArcLight when that first started.
But NCIS is in season 19.
What about Law and Order?
Good.
SVU's 21st season, so they're I think 22nd season. And
it came out when I was a junior in high school. That came out last millennia.
Yeah.
It's like The Simpsons.
Oh, The Simpsons. My gosh. I remember it's like, I grew up with The Simpsons, and then you're like, wow, The Simpsons is still going.
Still going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's still kind of funny. I must admit, it's still kind of funny.
I haven't watched this episode of Simpsons in years.
So it's prime time for you to come back to it, because if you leave it for a good amount of time and come back to it, it's funny again. It's kind of an amazing thing.
Well, HBO Max has Rick and Morty, too.
They do. And I know Donald well knows, they also have every episode of Head of the Class.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he got me on that.
Now, that's old school. There was one.
Enrique, thank you.
What about Charles in Charge?
That's the one where Dr. Johnny Fever is the teacher, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Checking. Without Howard Hessman.
Is he alive?
Who?
He is. He's like 84, but he is alive.
Right. Okay, cool. I would love that. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, South Park. It was 7 seasons, Chris says, for West Wing.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's still a lot. That is a lot.
It is a lot.
Because that's a heavy show. I mean, watching Aaron Sorkin self-flagellate on his scripts for 7 seasons, I mean, that's a lot of work. I'm just saying.
Pen fapping to paper.
I think you didn't like the Social Network movie.
No, not really. It was just all right. I've seen better David Fincher.
Yeah. Well, isn't David Fincher's movie nominated Mank, right?
Yep.
So David Fincher
10 nominations.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty crazy.
People came up to me at work today, and they'd mentioned, hey, it got 10 nominations. What do you think of that? I'm like, oh, my God, they still do the Oscars?
Yeah, exactly. They did the Grammys last night.
I know. There's some crazy lap going on, if you know what I mean.
I posted, by the way, on social media, guys, so if you want to grab that and share, please feel free to
Already on it. On it.
All right, cool. Share that up here. So, Julio, are there any exciting things happening at We Can Be Heroes that you'd like to share at the moment?
Oh, awesome. We got a couple things. We have a big, giant PSA DNA event on March 26th from 4 to 8. Basically, you can bring in all your memorabilia, all your signed movie memorabilia, and get it authenticated. You can also bring all kinds of cards, Pokemon, sports cards. Marvel cards are blowing up right now, all those old 90s Marvel cards. Everybody's into those. You can bring those into grade. You can bring Funko Pops to get encapsulated on that day. And I think that on April 24th, we are having our first ever signing at We Could Be Heroes. So we're going to have Tay Conti. She's a Brazilian professional wrestler at AEW. So now that coronavirus has disappeared magically, we can have people come to the store.
So is that with mask or without mask?
Oh, no, you got to wear your mask, man.
Oh, so the thing is, Julio, what's interesting is just how common are these signing events in like the Los Angeles area? I figured this is relatively rare and kind of hard to come by. Your grading events, excuse me.
What kind of events?
Your grading event. I'm sorry.
Well, the grading event is it doesn't happen very often, but like the Pokemon craze, it's blown up our store on a whole different level. And every day there will be somebody that comes in and asks me, hey, can I get this card graded? Can you send this out to be graded? And so I just reached out to one of those certified PSA dealer guys, and they said, yeah, would love to come down and do it. So it's, I think we're the only ones in the Valley that will offer the service.
That's awesome.
The funny thing is their headquarters is in Orange County anyway. So it's not too far away.
Yeah, it's not too far. But the thing about it is to get a card graded right now, sports, Pokemon, any kind of card like that, it takes 15 months to get it.
I heard about that because there's so many people just overloading them.
Yeah, the PSA is hiring. It's not even it's that card explosion has happened again with sports cards and everything. So everybody's saying it. Like if you wanted to get your, Don Mattingly picture, authenticated, you'll get it back in 2 weeks. But it's just the card grading services that is backed up.
Think about it, like they probably got caught off guard pretty hard, like
I think everybody did.
Yeah.
I think everybody.
It's like, why is this happening?
Comics too, CGC as well, and CBCS.
Yeah. Let's think about it. How did this happen? Who started this trend? Where did somebody at one point did somebody go, we have to make these cards popular again?
I think it's a combination of COVID, the stimulus check, and people they're just at home. You have a lot of time in your hands, a lot of folks. And if they have that disposable income, it's like, you know what? Let me think about this. You know what? I got these cards here. Or they're going on YouTube to look at that stuff. And they say, yeah, you know what? It's been a long time since we touched these cards or these particular comics.
Right. Who doesn't have these cards, these Marvel cards, in their garage? And I think that people got a lot of time on their hands during the shutdown. They went in their garage and said, these are great. These are perfect. And now they're grading cards. Just recently we had that whole thing, which it lasted about 15 minutes with X-Force #1, the Deadpool card in the back of the polybagged copy of the book. And everybody was going crazy. They were calling it Deadpool's rookie card, the second appearance of Deadpool. So I think people just had way too much time on their hands and created phenomenon.
And also for people who had their cards graded as a 10, they're like the first ones to get them graded as a 10. They hyped up the rarity. Oh, there's only like 3 of these in existence. So then now, oh my God, I got to get that. So all of a sudden, these cards selling for $10,000, $15,000, just ridiculous prices. So probably by next year, you'll see this thing tap out, or at least tap out significantly.
Well, I hope not, man, because it's been great for the store. I mean, comic prices have just skyrocketed. Have you guys noticed that?
Oh,
it's insanity.
We've had private conversations offline about that. Like some of these comics is just like, for example, Miles Morales Ultimate Fallout 4. I've been keeping track of this. Yesterday sold for a record like $3,100 for a CGC 9.8, and it's going to keep going. It wouldn't surprise by the end of the year. It's a 5K book, if not more.
Right. We just did a recent podcast audio one. I think we posted it on Friday. It was called "What Creases Our Pages," speculating the fun out of comics. So it's a new segment that we're going to have here on the Real Short Box, where we get to old man bitch and moan about things like that, where prospecting has basically taken the fun out of building collections, because if you hit a book that happens to be a hot book now, it could cost you $1,000 to complete a run on something where the rest of the issues are only worth a couple dollars each. It's just, depending upon what series it is, you could be SOL. And that's unfortunate and makes it not so much fun.
That's true, because the New Mutants run, there's only 2 books, well, maybe 3, but really only 2 that sell for a heck of a lot of money. And interesting enough, New Mutants 98 is also skyrocketing.
Oh, my God. It's unbelievable. But here's the thing. I've noticed this over this is the last couple, 3 months that everything's starting to skyrocket. Less people are selling their books to me because you don't know what book is going to hit. Because there's during this whole WandaVision thing that happened, how many dollar books became $50 books, $100 books, $1,000 books?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's crazy. So you don't want to get rid of anything because you never know what's going to happen.
Unless you really need the money, of course.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, Marvel Spotlight 4. I bought that 2 years ago, I want to say, maybe almost 3 years ago at that was at San Fernando Valley show that was out in Mission Hills for like $3.
Yeah.
And now
I have a copy of it. I think I bought out at Elliott's for 50 cents.
There you go.
Yeah.
Raphael, you're right. He says, I feel you, but it is still fun to find those books in the wild for a deal because not everyone knows. That's true. And to a point, not everybody knows the first Wolverine appearance, Like a lot of people that
argue.
Right, that don't know, and are just selling comic books and stuff. But I don't know how it is in every other state, but in Southern California particularly, where most of us reside here from the Real Short Box, it's very hard to find a deal. like a good, like real good deal. Like, oh, this guy didn't know what he had, because everybody is so keyed in this area.
Rare.
It's really rare. Yeah. So you have to start. You gotta be like Charlie Hustle. You gotta really work hard and be the first person to anything. Or, you know, you just have to go out of state and look around and stop at like antique malls and yard sales and things like that, where you might not expect to find something, but possibly can.
Yep, that's where I got lucky 4 years ago.
Unless you go to We Can Be Heroes, there's deals everywhere at We Can Be Heroes, right?
This is very true. This is very true. But like what you're saying, what you were saying, Donald, about going out of state. Everybody in Southern California is a collector. You go to Target, you'll never find that action figure you're looking for. And you might be, you know, just a kickback guy that occasionally picks up a figure, and you'll never find it.
Right.
You'll never find it because everyone collects. Everyone wants to flip stuff for money here in Southern California.
And I think a lot of it also has to do with those side gigs, you know, the hustle. Like, everybody has 15 jobs, you know, because they need it to survive. So flipping books or, you know, buying figures and posting figures online and stuff has become somewhat of a life support system for some people.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you guys want to get going on the Snyder Cut here?
I think so. Now, I'm gonna preface this with the fact that I did watch the original version of this Justice League film just last night again, like for the second time. I hadn't seen it since it was in the theaters. And I thought it would be a perfect opportunity for me to refresh my memory. And yeah, still just not that great of a film. Nothing's changed for me as far as my opinion's concerned.
Did it give you an allergy attack?
I think it did. Yeah, it made my allergy go crazy. Made me a little bonkers. So I took a lot of Benadryl to counter that, and now I'm kind of droopy. So that's great. So thanks, Justice League. Appreciate that. So,
thanks, Zack Snyder.
What originally happened with this was Zack Snyder's daughter passed away. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
And when his daughter passed away, he was like, okay, you could tell the dude was overworked. And from what I was told from inside information, because you know, sometimes you're here in LA, you know a guy that knows a guy that works with somebody. And I happen to know a guy that was close friends with Snyder's personal assistant. And he said that Snyder was an absolute joy to work for, but lately had been more prickly and kind of hard to deal with, a little difficult at times. So he was saying how, you know, it was a horrible thing that happened, but it was possible that it was time for him to like take a little break and a little bit of a reset and a recharge for himself too. And that's not a good way to do that, but that is probably why he was able to come back to the project now and look at it with fresh eyes and go, okay, this is what I need to fix, this is what I need to add, and tweak this and tweak that, you know. And you get a lot of fan service, you know, as far as like, oh, I think this or I think that. You see that everywhere. And as a director, I'm sure you could not, you know, throw a rock and hit somebody that's giving you an opinion on your film. So it's difficult to come back to something like that, but I think it was necessary for him and very cathartic for him in a way to do this for his daughter, you know, because of her untimely passing, which is why he had to step away and Whedon stepped in.
Well, it looks like the entire cast loved him. They all were singing his praises, and they really championed the Snyder Cut. All of them did. So, must be a likable guy.
Yeah. I mean, of course.
Similar to Richard Donner. I heard there was like rebellion on Superman 2 once he was let go.
Yeah,
I heard that Gene Hackman was upset and was, you know, there's a kind of similar. They really like the director that much that when there's interference, there's issues, you know, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about the movie, I don't dislike it as much as maybe you guys do. because I saw the potential that was there, and there still are some sequences in there that are kind of cool. If I were to pick at it a little bit, I really didn't like Steppenwolf's minions, whatever those things were, the like flying flea thingies.
Parademons.
They were very weird to me. I don't really. They literally just seemed like the Foot Clan, being offed very easily. Like they didn't seem like a real big formidable opponent at all. But I'm kind of curious. Is there a lot of footage that was left on the cutting room floor with this film, or did they really have to seriously add so much? And if they're just gonna do what Marvel does and create this kind of movie environment that's like a TV show, you have to keep watching the next movie in order to get everything, like creating the whole universe. That's going to bother me a little bit. I have to be honest with you. Like, I think some of these movies have become long advertisements for the next movie, and I'm kind of getting sick of it. And hopefully that's not the route that they go here. Hopefully they found kind of an interesting way to kind of beef this story up a little bit. And I hope it's just cutting room floor footage, because I personally think The Flash was really skated over very quickly. Aquaman ended up getting his own movie, so I mean, we don't really need to add too much to Aquaman, I suppose. And Cyborg, I know that's becoming a disaster over there right now. He's talking about how he doesn't even want to come back, or he is not coming back, one or the other. So
I heard that they only added, I think it's all original footage that he had shot, and it's only like, I want to say that I read it was like less than 10 or 15 minutes of new footage that he actually shot for this thing.
Apparently, the story, the Snyder Cut, is going to revolve around more of the origins of Cyborg and Flash. So apparently Cyborg is one of the hearts of the movie, so to speak. So we're going to get a little more in-depth into those two characters, since they really didn't get to know much about them. So apparently that's going to rectify those two characters' origins. Plus, we'll see Iris West, a little bit of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's going to be playing Iris West? Do you know?
Kiersey Clemens.
Okay.
She got cut out. She was in they cut her footage out from the original movie.
Chris Duque popped in. Hey, Chris. What's up?
What's up, Chris?
How you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining. We're talking Snyder Cut.
So, on all the Snyder movies, there's like the Superman one cut a whole bunch of people out of it too, right?
Yeah.
I was pretty sure that they cut a lot of characters out.
Plus, this will get Donald excited. We're going to see the black Superman costume.
Yeah.
Oh, is that coming in this?
Does make my panties moist, for sure.
You see? There you go.
Yeah. So wait, that book's going to turn into a $100 book any day now.
Yes, and I should have bought all your books out of We Could Be Heroes before I told you that. So
So the question, like, I kind of want to raise here, because you guys would probably know better than I would. What is, aside from HBO and Warner Brothers wanting to obviously, maybe gin up some streaming memberships and things of that nature, what do you think this Snyder Cut is going to mean for the future of DC films? Like, is this going to tie in very well, or is it just going to be a one-off that we never think of again?
Here's the thing with that. DC, Warner Brothers, they know that, like, a lot of their legacy directors are leaving or considering leaving. Like Nolan, for example, Christopher Nolan, who did The Dark Knight, That's huge. So with their in-house quality going kaput, so to speak, they're kind of getting desperate to hang on to people. So I think there was a lot with this. It was to bring subscribers, to bring notoriety to HBO Max, to get people jazzed, interested. But I think it was also to kind of say to Zack, hey, we're sorry that you didn't get to do what you want here. Now you can. Here's $80 additional million that you can use for this film. Make it something spectacular. Let's really bring the people in. And by doing that, they're also extending an olive branch and going, hey, let's continue to work together. Now, if that's in the capacity of the DC Universe, this film will have laid out the foundation for that. And they can continue on with that, if that means a sequel to this story.
Right.
or whether that means branching off with certain characters with Snyder's involvement. That absolutely can happen now at this point because of what they've done and how they were able to reach out to him and get him to do this again.
Well, as of this morning, from what I was reading, it said something about how Snyder had said that he was done at Warner Brothers after this. That was just this morning. He tweeted that he was done. That he ended the movie on a cliffhanger, he said, but that Warner Brothers really wanted to go their own way. That they've recasted Superman, and that is it Henry Cavill?
Yeah, Henry Cavill.
Is it Henry or Harry?
Henry Cavill.
Henry. Yeah. He's upset at them, because for a little while there, I understood that there was going to be two Batmans running around, like from different Earths,
right,
and stuff like that. Which this could be that one Earth, this another Earth, and then the one that's with the kid from
Twilight.
Was it Twilight? Twilight. It was going to be a different one.
Right, Pattinson.
Even Michael Keaton being brought back.
Yeah. And then I thought that Joaquin Joker could be part of the Pattinson, and yeah, it'd be kind of cool. I mean, Infinite Crisis would be definitely a cool thing to do.
Absolutely.
The Batman, Michael Keaton's Batman, he is going to be in the Flash movie. So you are still getting, and you're getting Ben Affleck as well. So Affleck, I believe, is confirmed for that as well as Michael Keaton. So we will be getting to see those versions of Batman. Now, whether this, there's speculation that the Michael Keaton could be just old Bruce Wayne, and we could be getting Batman Beyond.
Yep.
So,
right. He might be Batman.
That's another book that's gone through the freaking roof, is the Batman Beyond. Number 1.
Did you sell your copy, Julio, at the store?
No. Do I have a copy at the store? No, I do not.
I thought you did at one point.
No, we did. We had it a couple times. I just actually got my first copy of it a couple weeks ago. But I championed that book forever. I kept on telling people, man, this is the DC Miles Morales book forever. And everybody was looking at me like, you're insane. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris says, by the way, Darkseid looks awesome. I love how they made him look. I've even heard rumors that Warner Brothers is interested in sequels. Believe it or not, yes, they are interested in sequels for films. Every film, basically, Warner Brothers wants a sequel of.
And remakes.
Absolutely. They can make a Gone with the Wind trilogy. They do it. Singing the Rain trilogy. They do it.
Dude, 3D. Bring the 3D back for that.
What?
Oh, that's it. Singing in the Rain 3D. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, dude, that'd be awesome.
I'll tell you what, like, in the original Justice League, Wonder Woman did have a couple of cool scenes. If they beef up her role in this and give her even a few more good scenes, people are really going to hate Wonder Woman 1984 even more than they already do.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they beefed her up.
Wonder Woman 84 was not good. Anybody that liked it, good for you.
I haven't seen it yet. Everyone keeps telling me it's terrible.
It's about a magic rock.
Yeah, it's really bad.
And Wonder Woman, the ending of Wonder Woman 1984 is what bothers. It has nothing to do with the movie. That guy at the end that's standing next to her while she's about to cross the street, right? And he's just standing there. He's not even looking at Gal Gadot's way. And I mean, I don't know if you've seen Gal Gadot, but she's kind of attractive, right?
You think?
This guy's not even looking her way. He's just looking at the traffic, and she goes, "Hey, I like your clothes." And he's like, "Yeah, thank you." And I'm like, "Are you serious? How good looking are you, bro? That you got Gal Gadot like checking you out and telling you, hey, you look good." And I mean, if it was me, I would have been like, "Hey, thank you. Coffee. Let's go."
Yeah.
Look, this is a classic example of reading your press clippings, because I like the original Wonder Woman. Of course, I didn't really much care for the whole thing with Ares at the end, but like, I really liked the movie. But I think people blew this way out of proportion. There was no way they would be able to actually live up to it in the sequel. They really kind of buried their grave early, if you ask me, because I don't care how much shooting you would have done. What would have really fixed that movie other than a brand new story? That's just my opinion.
Well, you just said the key word, Darren. Story.
Yeah.
It comes down to story. I mean, how many sequels turn out to have a really good story that was sometimes surpassed the original?
The only film that I've ever seen in the history of like me watching films that I went back and watched and then went, oh, I'm so sorry, this is actually way better now, was Avengers Age of Ultron. Like the second Avengers film. That's the only one, like in the superhero world anyway, that I've ever like gone back to and went, wow, I was mistaken. My God, this is way better than I remember.
That's interesting. Is that after watching WandaVision?
No, not after watching. This was like 2 years ago. So this was after, but this was after Thor Ragnarok, and Black Panther and a few other films that there was a bunch of alluding to scenes in Age of Ultron. So it was just filled with like pre-stuff, and we didn't understand it. So it was like, I don't get this. Now that we've seen all that pre-stuff, everything in it makes sense, and it runs, it flows much more smoothly.
Yeah, the Easter eggs, they paid off for you.
Yeah. Last evening, I was actually watching what I would consider still the greatest superhero sequel in Spider-Man 2. I'm just like, I know it's possible for these superhero films to really beef up a sequel. So, like, I don't want to hear the excuses anymore. I mean, we've pretty much come standard issue at this point. We know the first film, especially Marvel, you do have to have a useful origin story. But I don't understand why you can't continue this sequel. Like, I mean, if you look at Spider-Man 2, all the complexities they added to his character, making him even question if he wants to be Spider-Man. I mean, it's just little stuff like that. It's just disappointing, bottom line, with Wonder Woman 84. And it's very relevant because she's in this movie. She has a pretty sizable role in the Justice League movie. So I would expect her to get beefed up because at the end of the day, she is very popular, Wonder Woman. And she should be in this. I mean, she is really cool. I'm not a big fan of the Superman character in this. I think he's a brick as an actor on this role. You know, Affleck's okay. I don't hate Affleck as Batman. He's just okay. Jason Momoa is enjoyable. The Flash, I don't know what to think of him. He doesn't have enough scenes, so maybe they'll give him justice. But Cyborg, I mean, after hearing his exit, I have no commitment to Cyborg in this at all.
The Flash, they did their best to put Bart Allen in the role of Barry Allen, and I don't understand why they did that. It just doesn't make sense to have Barry Allen be the comic relief, because Barry Allen's never been a funny guy, like, ever. Barry Allen was killed off for 25, 30 years because he was just the straight man. You know, he was, like, boring, and people didn't care. So they put Wally West in his place, and Wally was a little more quirky and fun. And then they had Bart Allen come in, and Bart Allen was from the future, and he had, like, terrible ADD. You know, he was like a spaz. He was all over the place. So it makes perfect sense to make this Flash Bart Allen, because that's the way the character acts. He doesn't act like Barry, so it doesn't, to a hardcore comic book fan, it just doesn't make sense. So there was a lot of that in the writing.
Really odd.
Yeah. I guess some people could argue with Quicksilver too in the X-Men universe that he doesn't act so much like the original Quicksilver did in the comic books. The original Quicksilver in the comic books is kind of like Namor, very conceited and just kind of bland in a lot of ways. So, you know, they needed to spice it up and liven it up, and I kind of get it, but if there's already a character there that's like that, just use that character or don't do it.
Yeah.
Now with this Snyder Cut coming out, do you see a massive surge in popularity in this? Because I've talked to some people that, begrudging or not, they are eager to see it. Do you think this is going to be as popular as one would think? I mean, obviously, we're more an expertise for comic books and stuff, so we're going to look at it differently. But, I mean, to the general public, do you see this being popular?
Well, when I drive... Go ahead, Kevin.
No, I was going to say, I'm sure the first week's going to do very well. You know, it's kind of like the opening weekend number type thing. So I'm sure the ratings will be very, very good. And then once the word of mouth spreads, that will decide its fate. If people say, yeah, you know what, this is really good, it'll pick up momentum. If not, it's just gonna.
When I drive down the freeway and I get to the traffic jam and I'm stuck there, I'm pissed at everybody, for not driving and looking at the accident. But when I get to the accident, I stare at it myself and I do everything that I talk shit about for the last 10, 15 minutes that I was behind it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna watch it, but I honestly think it's gonna just be terrible because there's just no way. I think they just made something longer. 4 hours? I mean, the only thing, I didn't even want to watch Lord of the Rings for 4 hours. What makes you think I'm going to watch a half-assed movie for 4 hours? I mean, there was no real plot. They were in some Russian town. They were going to set some bombs off. If I remember this correctly, there was that family that was there. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, the family. I was looking at that last night, and I was like, oh, wait, here comes that bullshit family in again. The Russian family that is just there for no reason.
No reason.
They really are there for no reason, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they probably had an amazing VHS collection. That's all I'm going to say about that family.
I mean, there's got to be a backstory maybe to that family, but the question is, do I care?
John, we heard it was $80 million, not $150 million. If you know a better source for that, let me know. But I swore it was $80 million that they gave him for the budget for that. 150 is a lot more.
They gave that movie a stimulus check. That's basically what they did.
Yeah.
God, that's a lot of money.
Well, Chris Duquet loves it. He says, I love it that it's a 4-hour superhero movie. It's going to be one of a kind. And yes, Chris, it is going to be probably the longest superhero film in the existence of superhero films. So yeah, it's going to definitely be one of a kind. One of a kind for sure. Let's talk of the new characters now that we're discussing the Snyder Cut. It's characters that we'll see. Now, originally, when they showed the flashback of the mother boxes and the big battle with the Amazonians and the Atlanteans and the humans, very Lord of the Rings-esque, where the army of men joined forces with the elven folk and then the battle trolls or whatever, and they all joined forces to fight together. And then they had to each hide their rings and get rid of them because of all this, nonsense. So they did the same thing, basically, with this. The Atlanteans, the Amazonians, the gods, and the humans all fought together to destroy Steppenwolf and his armies in order to prevent them from taking the mother box and uniting the three of them to destroy the planet. They even showed Green Lantern. Like one Green Lantern, they said like aliens from other worlds joined us in battle. And there was one freaking Green Lantern that we saw for 5 seconds. So apparently we're going to see an actual like Green Lantern. We're supposed to see basically who's supposed to be Hal being in this film.
Is it Ryan Reynolds?
No.
I doubt it.
No, I don't think so, but that would be funny if it was. No, but I don't think they said. At one point I thought it was supposed to be Armie Hammer.
Nope.
But yeah, I don't think that's going to be happening for some obvious reasons. But we are getting a Green Lantern. We're supposed to be getting, I think it's Ryan Chow, the Atom.
The Atom. Yeah. Cool.
Which is not going to be Ray Palmer, so it'll be interesting. I always find it interesting when they use the legacy character over the character that kind of broke the mold for that character. And they used Barry, but they used a different character in place of Barry, basically. So you still have Barry's name.
They just named him Barry.
Right. But with Hal, I wonder how that's going to work. Apparently there was a decent amount of Green Lantern footage that they cut.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So, Chris, I think Green Lantern will be a part of it. There's also going to be a lot of villains that's going to be in there that wasn't in there before. The big one, of course, as Chris Duquet has been chomping at the bit for, is Darkseid. Or as Very cool. I was little, his name was Darkseid because
Seed.
It kind of looked like it, and my pronunciations was not great. Hey, Evan. Evan's joined us, everybody.
Yo.
Yeah, watch out. He put the floor in.
Oh, he did?
No.
Uh-oh. Well, he didn't put it in here. I don't think.
He can. He can. He can.
No, we're good. It's still the same thing it's always been.
All right.
So you were saying with Darkseid, Donald.
Yeah. So we're getting Darkseid. We're getting Desaad, who is kind of Darkseid's pain underling, kind of the guy that he goes to interrogate and torment people. We're going to get Granny Goodness in some capacity.
Yeah.
So expect to see her. Hopefully played by Ed Asner. I don't know, but hopefully. Just fingers crossed.
He's like 93.
Hey, you know what? I'll take it. He did the voice
He was in Karate Kid.
Yeah,
he was in Cobra Kai.
Right, he was in Cobra Kai. And he did the voice of Granny Goodness in the Justice League and I think the Superman series as well. So that was always cool to find out. Evan says at Julio's mom's, and then Walter says, yeah, and he will put you under it.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I got an Ed Asner story that's really funny. Right after I got married, I got our married apartment, and we got a phone number, and a direct landline, which nobody has anymore, and it was formerly Ed Asner's number, because every time I checked my voicemail, there would be somebody calling for Ed Asner, and asking, "Oh, Ed, we thought about you for this part. Can you call us?" The best one ever was Captain Steubing himself called my house asking for Ed. What was Captain Steubing's real name? You guys remember?
I don't.
Oh, well, he called and he's all, "Hey, it's me, Ed, you got to call me. We got to get together." And it was great. It was fantastic.
Captain Steubing.
So for a year and a half, I had Ed Asner's old phone number.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Why did you lose it?
Because we gave up landlines and I have a cell phone. It's not even a cell phone now. It's a smartphone.
Yeah, it's a little computer in his pocket. Yeah, but there's this technology now that people can carry around.
Let the government know where I'm at all times.
So, Donald, a question I would have with you bringing up the villains. I kind of figure that this movie, part of what's going to make it longer is they're going to have to establish how the Justice League was formed. It's going to take, obviously, a lot of time to do that. How do the villains fit into this? I mean, are we just going to see kind of what we saw in like a Clash of the Titans, where like a bunch of the villains are sitting together and they're like, we'll send Steppenwolf out? Or are they going to be actively involved, you think, in the storyline?
Well, we're supposed to see Ares also. We're supposed to see Lex Luthor. We're supposed to see Deathstroke, the
Your
Terminator.
Your favorite Lex Luthor.
And Jared Leto's Joker as well. So I know the reshoot, one of the reshoots was, or an actual shoot, was they shot a scene with Leto's Joker in Batman. So for some reason they're trying to tie in the Joker into this. And I don't know why yet. I haven't figured that one out.
I heard it was part of the dream sequence. They're actually going to expand the dream sequence, which everybody was raving about originally, and is everybody's favorite part. When he's got the duster on and the goggles, and the Joker's going to be part of that.
Okay.
You know what would have been cool if they would have had the Legion of Doom in this movie?
Yes, so cool. And that helmet thing that they all hung out in.
Yeah. In the swamp. Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah. By the way, my mother just appeared, everybody.
Bring Darkseid to Earth.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining. She says, I have a landline and all I get are people that want to try and take my money. LOL. So.
Unfortunately, yes. That's what they do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yep.
They do it on your cell phone, too, by the way. I get nonsense.
You know, you're right.
Anybody have a car loan out or a college loan? Your warranty up on your car, and you have a college loan, because that's all I get calls for.
Donald, I know I told you this, but I had an Indian guy call me on my phone, and he was telling me that he was from the IRS.
Yeah.
And when he told me his name was Oliver Queen.
You're serious?
I said, "Excuse me, your name is Oliver Queen?" And he said, "Yes, it's not important in my name." And I was like, "Wait a minute. You're the Green Arrow?" He said, "Sir, my name is not important. But what is your IRS problem?" I go, is this not my boat? Possibly, sir. The Queen's Gambit. I lost it 5 years ago. My father committed suicide to save my life. And he was like, sir, this is a very serious matter. And I was going to continue. I was going to say, I failed my taxes. But he just hung up on me.
Oh.
It was,
so. Yeah. You're way nicer to them than I am. Good for you.
I enjoy it. It's like stress release for me. I'll keep him on the phone as long as I possibly can.
I thought one a couple weeks ago myself about Social Security. You're telling something about my Social Security. I'm like, what do you know about my Social Security? They just kept going back and forth, and they hung up too.
I'll tell you, the more I think about this, this is going to be potentially the largest origin story
of all time
superhero movie I've ever seen. Because I'm just doing the math in my head, because they clearly threw that together, like I just said, and it is hitting me like a ton of bricks. Because when they introduced Flash and Aquaman and Batman versus Superman, that wasn't even like a tease. It was shorter than that. Now you're thinking about this here. You have to establish the Flash. Like, you really do. There's no choice in the matter at this point. You have to do it for Aquaman, and you have to do it for Cyborg.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like, do I really want to see Cyborg? Because I know he's no longer going to be a part of the universe, at least the actor. I don't know. It's like problematic for me. And like I said, the Flash, I mean, it's not looking too good for Ezra right now, to be playing that role. So I don't know. That just kind of dawned on me. And I like origin stories, but I mean, we kind of know these characters well enough at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
one of the things that I'm tired of, is actually origin stories. Like, how many times do I have to see Batman's parents die? I have PTSD from watching his parents die. All right? I'm tired of it. I don't want to see it anymore. I think we can go on and not tell that part of the story. If there's another Batman movie, we all know.
Yeah.
So,
and if not, somebody can lean over and be like, his parents died.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Done. Cliff's Notes. They can hand it out on a Post-it. Dead parents. Just hand it to you.
Right.
Like, okay.
Why is Bruce so angry all the time?
Yeah. Chris
Get over it, bro.
Chris has a question. He says, so do you guys think that Darkseid will do any fighting in this movie? Yeah, I think there'll be some.
Sparing. Yeah, sparingly, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think.
So you don't think he's going to be on the screen for very long?
Right, because there'll probably be a cliffhanger, and he'll probably take a mother box and teleport somewhere, maybe to the what's that thing called? The wall, the source wall.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll probably see like a glimpse of Metron in his chair, and then the movie ends.
Oh, the Omega chair. Nice. I love that thing.
Yeah, me too.
Sean says, are you all generally Snyder fans?
His work is okay. His first two movies I thought were pretty good. I liked his Dawn of the Dead remake, and I thought 300 was okay.
Okay, I want to talk about 300 there. I want to talk about that. Everybody says, oh, but 300 was so good. What did he really do? Copy every single panel from Frank Miller's book? I could do that. That's like coloring by numbers. He did the same exact thing with Watchmen. He changed the ending, but it's color by numbers with that guy.
Watchmen was wonderful, and I'll argue that to my grave.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the thing with Snyder, I think he's a highly skilled director. It's
visual, very visual.
It's very obvious that he came from the music video world when you watch his things. I very rarely get engaged with his actors or his stories. I believe that, like, to piggyback a little bit what Julio said about 300, my big issue with 300 is it was 100% in your face the entire 2 hours. It's just, it has no lulls at all. It's just always just more. And eventually it just starts to all look the same, even though, like, it's a very cool movie. And we have to put ourselves in 2006 and understand that to do a movie like that with pretty much 90+% CGI was an impressive feat at the time.
Yeah.
So, like, I never really got into it, but I can admire the skill. Watchmen, I think the first hour and a half I really like, and then it kind of loses me. I don't hate it, It just kind of loses me. But like Kevin said earlier, I think his Dawn of the Dead remake is enjoyable only because I expected it to be awful. I mean, come on, Sarah Polley and Ving Rhames. Are you kidding me? Like, you couldn't convince me in a million years it would work. But it was pretty entertaining. But obviously, it missed all of what George Romero was going for in the original. But it's just pure filmmaking skills, and it's a $15 million film. Yeah, I don't like Sucker Punch. I don't really love Man of Steel. I like about 3 scenes in Man of Steel. And Batman versus Superman, I've seen both cuts. I don't hate it, but once again, I just can't get into it. So there's my summary there for you.
Do you feel that Mad Max Fury Road is kind of like a better execution of what the 300 is in a sense? You said talk about a movie that kept going on, constant action.
Mad Max Fury Road, I mean, that's kind of a different conversation. So George Miller, who's a complete master of just action films. First of all, 2 things he did perfectly in that. He used the center punch technique with his camera repeatedly. Everything that's important in that movie is in the center of the frame, which is crazy. That's not supposed to happen. And 2, when you get into the big battle scenes, he uses so many wide master shots that you are never confused as to where you are in the whole sequence. And that's completely masterful filmmaking by comparison.
Which, by the way, I just thought about something. Perfect segue. George Miller was the original director of the Justice League.
Really?
Yeah. This was announced after Happy Feet. So
Happy Feet.
I was really confused by that because I didn't remember. I didn't have. It's been too long, and I didn't remember he did any of the Mad Maxes. To be honest.
What?
So for me, when they said George Miller is doing the Justice League, I was like, great. The guy from Happy Feet is going to direct a live-action film. That's going to be terrible.
Well, think about it. It wasn't the guy who did Invincibles. Is that Incredibles? It was the animated movie.
Brad Bird.
Brad Bird.
He did the Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
Yep. He did a great job.
Great job.
It makes sense because animated films are essentially action films. Pretty much every single one of them at this point. There's some kind of high action sequence, whether it's comedic or it's very serious. But George Miller's also like 76, which is why it's really funny to think. And I don't want anyone else touching Mad Max. I mean, when he did Fury Road, he embarrassed every one of what I call the wannabe apocalypse movies directors. I mean, he's just so much better at it than them.
Yeah.
It's kind of awesome, but it's kind of sad because people are not picking up on what he does so great. And I'm telling you, it's those master shots, man.
Mostly also practical effects.
He also did Babe, right? Sean saying Babe Pig in the City. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
He did Lorenzo's Oil, which is, I mean, it's not my kind of film, but it's an excellent movie.
Yep.
Walter says that he just wants to see fights, and Soup's killing people at this point. Anyone that's thinking that this is going to be a good film, I have a Marvel's preview I want to sell you.
Okay, Walter.
Well put, Walter.
Here's what I'm going to say to you, Walter. That the bottom line is, any of the exciting action stuff would have never been cut out of the final cut. So I see exactly what you mean there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely. And the soundtrack changed too. It's not that DJ guy anymore. It's back to the original music also. So that'll have a different tone for the film, I think. What was the name of the DJ guy that did the music?
Junkie XL?
Junkie XL. Yeah.
Yep.
So we don't have a Junkie.
Okay, because he did Fury Road, and he did excellent on Fury Road.
No. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just saying that it's going to change the whole feeling of the movie, I think.
You're absolutely right. And there's an obsession Snyder has in these movies with these really muddy colors. Mm-hmm. I don't really understand it. It's bizarre. Like, I never pictured the Justice League like that.
He's making an adjustment with that. He actually said something about that. He's going to be adjusting with the colors with this Snyder cut.
Good. Because when I think of the Justice League, I just think of very regal superhero characters. I figured there'd be color popping off of the screen, but that does not exist in here.
Yeah, everything's doom and gloom. Another hero that they're going to be supposedly introducing is Martian Manhunter. We're going to be seeing a bit of him coming up.
Should have been there from the very beginning.
Bunch of Oreo cookies everywhere.
Yeah.
I remember we did We did a pod over a year ago. I've been calling for Martian Manhunter to get his own thing for a long time.
Yeah, Martian Manhunter is well deserving. Up until a certain point in the 90s, he had been involved in part of every iteration of the Justice League. He had been in some form or another, whether it be Martian Manhunter or Bloodwind at the time when he played that character also. There was an interesting 90s thing that happened where he also was pretending to be a character named Bloodwind, who was actually Martian Manhunter.
Well, I don't like his character on the Supergirl show. I don't really like that actor.
Yeah. No.
It's like, ooh, no.
He's okay.
There's so many things wrong with that show.
Well, that show...
There's a lot. It's probably the worst CW show.
Have to replace the actress?
No, Donald will disagree with you there.
Yeah, I will disagree.
He doesn't like Arrow.
I don't like Arrow, but there's even a worse one, and that's Batwoman.
I have not watched. I have not watched.
I don't care if the lead is a lesbian. I don't care if she's purple, pink, whatever. I don't care. Just give me a good story, and they failed to do that on every level. Every level, it's bad. It's just a bad.
The Rose version or this new version?
Both, awful, both. Yeah. They didn't change the writers when they changed the lead. You know what I mean? And that's the problem for me. You can put whoever you want in there. You can put goddamn Gilbert Godfrey in a wig and have him walk around and say he's Batwoman. And it'd be more entertaining, I can guarantee you, but just because it's ridiculous, not because the story got any better.
What you're saying is they need a clean house in the writing room.
Right. We've got a few comments here. Jarrett says more like the shit cut instead of the Snyder cut. Snyder cut, I guess is what he means. Yeah.
I agree.
Daunt says Incredibles 2 got overshadowed by Spider-Verse, but it's a great movie too. The action scenes were a lot better than most Marvel movies. Are you talking about the original Incredibles or Incredibles 2?
Two.
Okay, so you're wrong. Move on from there.
Wow, that's vicious.
Let's see. Sean says, is that shirt a hint? Are we getting crypto? Sean, we are getting crypto. It's in the League of Super Pets that a certain friend of the Real Short Box is actually working on. So we are getting crypto eventually. We're
talking about currency?
No. Crypto, the Wonder Dog here.
Oh, the dog.
Yeah.
Jim Lee loves that dog. That thing is his favorite thing to draw.
It's a great character.
We here at the Real Short Box, we used to be the #1 superhero podcast for simian superheroes. I'm just saying, Donald, maybe Detective Chimp hopefully comes into this new Super Pets.
There's actually talk of a Justice League Dark series.
Yes.
Either a TV series or a film coming down the pike. Super stoked about that idea because we will get a Detective Chimp. We will get, hopefully, we will get.
Oh, there was talk of Guillermo del Toro directing that. He really wanted to do it.
Yeah,
that would be sick.
Yeah. There's John Constantine. There's so much buzz around Constantine right now. Everybody wants to put Constantine in everything. The Super Pets film, Sean.
To play the part?
Yes, he wants to come back.
The Super Pets film, Sean, is going to be animated. It's going to be computer animation, not live action. Walter says Doom Patrol is good. It's just on a streaming service no one watches. Walter, actually, they ported Doom Patrol over to HBO Max and closed out that DC streaming universe. It's done. So.
Love Doom Patrol.
Yeah, the DC streaming universe now is just all like comic book material and stuff. It's not TV or animated or anything like that. So that was like them testing the waters for HBO Max.
The cyborg in that in Doom Patrol is more likable than the one here in Justice League.
Yeah, I will say he doesn't look as cool, but he's like low rent cyborg, but he still looks cool enough, for TV. And Brendan Fraser as Robot Man is just perfect casting.
Yes.
Perfect.
I was like, dude, really? You're going to be in this? You were in The Mummy. Those movies were so huge. And he's so good as the robot. So good.
So good.
And and I love the amount of time he spends in the robot suit, and then when they do like backstory, it's just enough for somebody who's an actor that wouldn't have a problem hiding their face, you know.
Yeah.
It was with what's his name too, Bomber's character. Is it Scott Steve Bomber?
Negative Man, I think, is what his name was, right? Negative Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great too. It's really good.
Garrett says Suicide Squad and Peacemaker show will make DC great again. I can't argue with it, to be honest. I think James Gunn. It's funny because I've always said from the start, when they were doing the original Suicide Squad, I was like, you guys wait. Suicide Squad is DC's Guardians of the Galaxy. It's their dark horse. It's going to come out of nowhere, and it's going to just crush it. And David Ayers directed it, and it came out, and it was poo-poo. And
yes.
we got some really cool shit. I mean, we got... I don't think that you could have a better... Captain Boomerang. I think
he's good.
I think he was phenomenal as Captain Boomerang.
Harley's great too. Margot Robbie's really good at it. I like her. That whole, she's super cute, and she gets that whole dead eye thing that Harley always has. And she's got that down to a science.
Yeah, she does a great job. So I don't see an issue there either. You know, I think. But what we then had happen was the movie failed, and then James Gunn got kicked out of Disney, and then ran over like as fast as possible. Warner Brothers ran to him actually and said, "Here, take this, do Suicide Squad." And he was like, "That's perfect. This is a great idea. This is basically DC's Guardians of the Galaxy." And I was like, "Duh." And now we're getting exactly what I wanted, and it's going to be incredible. I cannot wait.
To be fair to the original Suicide Squad, it did take in $135 million opening weekend. This is a fact that gets overlooked quite a bit, if you can believe it. So clearly there is a product there worth marketing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They just need to retool it, and that's exactly what they're doing. You know, they're going back to the roots of the series, which is these ridiculous characters that will just all get killed, basically. So, and that's fine.
Yeah, and the big issue you had there is David Ayer mostly does smaller films, so the studio did have a immense amount of control over him.
Sure.
I heard that half of that film was put together by the marketing people. So, I mean, that should tell you something right there.
David Ayers, he likes to make gang movies. All his movies are all about gangs.
He's from Compton originally. David also too. He did do this movie. It's escaping me. It's one word, but it's a World War II movie about tanks with Brad Pitt and Shia LaBeouf.
Fury, which was really good too.
Yeah.
I like that one. I liked End of Watch.
Yeah, End of Watch was a lot of fun.
And he did Sabotage with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I didn't mind too, but that was a gang movie basically. And then he just did the Tax Collector with Shia, which was about Mexican cartels and people that collect money for, taxes on other gangs and stuff like that.
Well, did you like Street Kings?
With Keanu? I love anything Keanu's in.
So that was David Ayer too.
Oh.
Real quick,
he wrote, of course, Training Day.
Sean says, when do we get to vote for Spider-Man 2? Sean, you missed that opportunity. That was
Sean, I watched Spider-Man 2 yesterday, and I can reconfirm with you that the audience got it wrong.
You said
which Spider-Man 2?
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2.
They are the smartest audience, Kevin. I'm not going to go back on that, but that doesn't mean they're perfect.
Right.
That's
Spider-Man 2 is the greatest superhero movie, at least in that bracket.
Top three.
Jared says Perfect Robot Man. Raphael says it failed because Will Smith is trash. LOL.
Oh, wow.
I don't know about trash.
Yeah, he's gonna.
I like Deadshot from the Arrow show better. The guy that was playing him on the Arrow show, I liked him better than Will Smith. But this is the thing: the popularity of that Suicide Squad movie, making so much money is because people didn't know who those characters were. We know who those characters should have been, and that's why it fails for us. Like I was saying earlier, my 9-year-old kid loves that movie. He doesn't know who the Croc is. He doesn't know who Deadshot is. He didn't know any of these characters. So if you don't know the Enchantress, He had no idea.
No.
So he's able to enjoy that movie. But when it comes to hardcore people like us, we're going to nitpick the shit out of it.
Right. Manga Meg says, I don't normally dig them small like Margot Robbie, but as Harley, she does it for me. And then the villain wasn't interesting. But the villain wasn't interesting because the villain was actually a hero. So that's the weird thing. They tried, basically they did what WandaVision did, but didn't course correct quite as well, so to speak, or give you enough intention for that character. So it just didn't work. Worse than Ronin, is what Megan Meg says. Ray says, Snatch is another great movie with great actors. Yeah, that's Guy Ritchie, right? That did Snatch?
Guy Ritchie, yeah.
Yeah.
And before that, he did Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. That's another
good movie.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Yeah. And Rock and Rolla I really enjoyed as well, which was supposed to, I think, initially be a trilogy.
Louis,
I
didn't like The Gentleman.
I enjoyed that very much. I liked that a lot.
It's too boring for me. It was too gentlemanly.
Oh, I liked it. I thought it was really cool, and it was one of the last 4 or 5 films I saw in a theater before we got locked down, and then couldn't see anything, so it kind of sucked. For that reason.
That's the way you're going to be, Julio. I just say, good day to you, sir.
Louis says Zack Snyder is great at visuals and action, but the one thing he's not really that good is how to tell a story. And Louis, you are 100% correct.
Yes.
I agree.
Manga Meg says, I didn't know who Slipknot was until the movie, LOL, got me to look into old Firestorm comics. Manga Megs, if you're going to look into old Firestorm comics, you probably still should look into old Firestorm comics because the Weasel, I believe, made its first appearance in a Firestorm comic, and that character is going to be played by none other than James Gunn's brother, if I recall, in the new Suicide Squad film. So I don't suspect that the Weasel's going to die, but I could be wrong.
What about Polka Dot Man? Do you think he makes it out?
I don't think so. No, I think Polka Dot Man...
He's gone in the first 30 seconds?
He's gone. I think Javelin's gone. I think Arm Fall Off Boy will make it about halfway through, and then he's gone. There's going to be some...
Isn't that Davidson's character? Is that Davidson's character?
Arm Fall Off Boy?
No, who's the guy from SNL? Isn't it like...
Pete Davidson is not. I can't remember which one he plays. Shoot.
Plays the talentless one.
Yeah, it's... Oh. I could agree with you there.
It's made me laugh 2 times, and one of them was unintentional.
Yeah.
Yes, and of course, I believe Armed Fall Off Boy will be played by Nathan Fillion.
Yep.
Oh, he'll live. He's got a good career going.
Maybe. I mean, he basically is the Bruce Campbell to James Gunn's Sam Raimi. They always find a way to work together, like in everything.
He's a very likable guy. Yeah, I don't think I've seen him anything where I just don't like him.
I would agree. He is definitely a very likable guy.
Yeah. But I would like to see Bruce Campbell show up in this Justice League movie. If he does show up, that'd be cool.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell was the rude usher in Spider-Man 2, Sean.
He was the true villain.
He was I
think it was supposed to be Mysterio in the fourth and Sam Raimi's
version. Julio, Jared says it's Blackguard he's playing. That's right. Pete Davidson.
Oh, Blackguard.
Blackguard.
Right. Which his first appearance is in Booster Gold #1.
Hi-yo.
Yeah, which is also a hot book right now because
very hot.
There's talks of Booster Gold making an appearance in the Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle, as well as eventually in some team film or possibly a time travel series, aka Legend of Tomorrow.
Brings joy to your heart, I believe.
Well, Donald,
yes, I love Booster.
Donald, I know you were trying to create an action figure for Booster Gold with the alternate lime-colored costume. How'd that end up working for you?
Well, when I don't know, for those people that know, I created a web series called The Blue Beetle Tag Card Returns, and you can find it on Rumble Spoon Productions page on YouTube. You just have to scroll down a bit, or you can search Rumble Spoon.
It's quite good. It's quite good.
I think it's fun. But anyway, long story short, the actor that's playing Booster Gold, I needed him to take, instead of doing it myself, which I should have, hindsight, guys, I told him, I said, hey, take this costume home with you and wash it because it smells like you smell on set. And he's like, yeah, no problem. He brings it back the next day, and it's lime green. Like, the blue and the gold from the Booster Gold costume went together and turned it green, and then thus eliminating the character of Booster Gold from any potential future web series type of production. But we did make a fun little short with it, with him not knowing how to do laundry, and we filmed that. And I don't think anything ever happened with that. We never did anything with the footage, but it exists. It's out there, and maybe someday I'll create my own Snyder Cut.
How did he make that happen? How did he cause it to turn green?
Well, I mean, I can get into the science of it, but usually blue can bleed over into other colors and turn them. So,
that's right, blue and yellow.
Yeah.
Y'all in the audience still want to be filmmakers? You still want to be filmmakers? This is what you go through.
This is exactly what you go through.
Science.
And if you are SAG and you need everybody to give you their social security account number on the sheet of paper so you can submit it to SAG so they get credit for the film, everyone will fight you and be like, why do you need this? Everyone's going to fight you. Like, everybody. And you just have to repeat it over and over and over again. It's not me, it's SAG. It's not me. I don't need it. I don't want it.
We're part-time identity thieves as well as, content producers.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Speaking of which, I went to a brewery over the weekend.
Surprise.
Last week, actually. And they were closed. They were supposed to be open until 10, and they were only, they closed up before 8 o'clock. So when we went over there, I had to walk through their little beer garden area, which is just like all these empty tables then because no one's there, that they had chained. And on one of the empty tables was just some lady's credit card, just like laying there, that she never picked up after she got her order. And everybody missed, apparently, on their way out. So I just walked over, picked up this girl's credit card, and I was like, oh, cool. And then immediately just went over and put it in their mail slot, and then, messaged the company. It was like, I put this lady's credit card in your mail slot. Make sure she gets it.
This is where Donald got this nice Steelers hat.
Yeah. Actually, it was a blue and gold hat, and I just gave it to my buddy. And Ron and
Booster?
And Booster washed it for me, yeah. Let's see. Booster's begging for a movie, says Jarrett. My mom says I love Ted Kord. Oh, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. Jarrett says Booster Lime sounds like a dope soda. Kind of does. Really does.
It's like a seltzer beer.
Maybe it is the original Jolt Cola, Jarrett. Or Surge. You never know.
Feeling a little worn down? How about a Booster Lime?
Booster Lime.
Yeah. In the web series at the end, I eventually had Booster shilling for a Preparation H. So
really?
Yeah, he was on a billboard and there was advertising Preparation H. So
wow.
He would do it.
What did Ron do to piss you off? Oh my God.
Well, it's the character. It wasn't so much Ron. Ron's a good guy. Ron will never watch this, but Ron's a good guy.
Do we have any more about the Justice League? I'm curious what the audience is saying, maybe.
That's I'm caught up with what the audience is saying. I think the Justice League is one of those things where people are half excited to see it, but they're all their hopes aren't high and they're very reserved about it. So we're not getting a lot. But anybody in the chats that wants to mention what they're looking forward to, I know Chris Duquet had mentioned earlier Darkseid. We're getting the Joker, we're getting Lex Luthor, we're getting Green Lantern,
Deathstroke.
We're getting Deathstroke the Terminator, which is super exciting because apparently they shot a little teaser promo between Batman and Deathstroke for a trailer to advertise that idea. And from what I heard, they even threw that in with the Snyder Cut. So we're going to get a Deathstroke Batman fight scene possibly as well.
Did you watch Titans? And Esai Morales played Deathstroke on Titans.
I watched the first season of Titans, but I never went to the second one.
Yeah, second season is really good too. And Esai Morales plays Deathstroke, which you think Esai Morales is Deathstroke? Dude, that guy is such a great actor and so underrated. He was fantastic at Deathstroke.
Dude, I haven't seen a movie with Esai Morales since Bad Boys with Sean Penn.
Who even is this person? Who is Esai Morales? What else?
Esai Morales is this guy that's in literally every single one of my Screen Actors Guild emails.
Yes, I think he's in charge of it, right? I think he's the president or something.
He's always running for office. Him and Alan Ruck, better known as Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
He's gonna call me. He's gonna make me go.
Like, so yeah, that's the only thing I know about Issa.
Okay.
He's on my SAG emails. He is supposedly like the perfect blue collar actor.
Yeah, he was in La Bamba back in '87.
To be fair, Issei is going to apparently be the villain in the new Mission Impossible, which that's a big deal. That's a really big deal.
Movie. Yep, that's a big one.
Yeah,
good for him, man.
That's
really good.
Let's see. Meg,
I got a question.
Sure.
So, should we do a part 2 of these? One of these podcasts after we watch the movie?
I don't know if anybody's going to care.
I mean, in industry terminology, we call these filler episodes.
Yes.
No, I don't know. I mean, you know, we definitely should do a part 2 if this thing becomes a massive, huge hit.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll know right away.
We can say we told you so.
Which we did.
Right.
And by we, I mean me.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Kevin, what do you think? You think it's going to be a A+ movie, or are you going to think it's just going to bomb like crazy?
Honestly, I think it's going to be a slight improvement. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll expound upon certain things that they didn't explain properly in the first one. I mean, in the original cut, and you know, there'll be some good points that they filmed and give us some fan pleasure. But other than that, I don't think there's going to be much you can do to improve a poorly written script. I mean, there's only so much you can do, you know. So I think it'll just be a slightly improved poop. That's all it is. Slightly improved poop.
Right. Poop mouth.
Donald, what do you think?
Before I tell you what I think, Manga Megs thinks that I've seen nothing but good reviews. Jarrett says, only Justice League I want to see is the Justice League Unlimited new episodes. Manga Meg says, I hope Justice League is actually good and not just goodwill hype. I'm kind of afraid the Snyder Cut will be loved initially, then loathed later like Independence Day. And Walter says Captain Carrot would be great. Walter, I think you mean Captain Carrot Cake, you hungry bastard.
Hungry bastard.
Yeah.
I think I have his first appearance.
We used to talk about Captain Carrot.
Walter? Kevin, you have the first appearance of Walter? That's weird, dude.
No, Captain Carrot.
Yeah, I'm going to weigh in. I don't know. You know, I got some... I don't know. I suspect it's going to be better than you think. But once again, this is not mind-blowing material. Because if it was, we would have seen that in the original cut.
Yesterday, I heard that it was going to be... that the reviews were overwhelmingly positive for this cut. And today now, I'm hearing that the reviews are relatively warm for this cut. So take it how you will. I think as we get closer to it, the truth is going to come out. And then the day it does arrive, which is 18th, it's a Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday.
I don't know how many people are going to start watching it at midnight, you know, like they would with like something else. Like if they release it at midnight on HBO Max.
WandaVision.
Yeah, who's going to stay up till 4 in the morning to watch it, for starters, and who's going to be not drunk and trying to stay up till 4 in the morning to watch it because it's St. Patrick's Day on the 17th.
Donald, you know there are people that will. And to be honest with you, I'm grateful.
Losers.
Because those people are the ones that watch our show, Julio, which is why we don't call them losers.
No, that's not why. That's why I'm doing so well. I call them losers with their face, and they think I'm joking.
I mean, clearly you're still stuck in like 1981. Did you ever see the movie Zapped?
Yes, with Scott Baio.
It's like the most mean-spirited movie ever.
I've never seen it.
It's kind of cool.
Should I watch it?
What's that?
Should I watch it?
Yeah.
I don't think it's any good. It's just very mean-spirited. It just reminds you, it's like, but at the same time, I think the high school hierarchy should exist forever.
I heard they're going to add some more mean scenes, and they're going to call that the Julio cut.
The Julio Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Dude, just think of all the high school scenes in Christine with all the shop kids, picking on the nerd.
Oh yeah, definitely.
My mom says I stay up till after 4 anyways, so my mom, it's true. My mom stays up really super late. So does my dad for the most part. I guess that's why I'm always up late.
But Donald, I feel like that time of night is the best time to absorb, fantasy and sci-fi, which I know your parents are real big fans of. I've watched sci-fi and fantasy that late, and I really absorb it differently. I think it's a cool thing.
Yeah. Sometimes you can wear pants. Sometimes you don't have to. It just depends.
Yeah, you go there. But yeah.
Sci-fi. Ooh, pantsless sci-fi or regular sci-fi. Not sure which.
Yeah. We have to do the and obviously, with the new Justice League, we're going to have to deal with yet again that another cover of the song "Come Together" by the Beatles.
Ooh.
Oh yes, right. Come together right now. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Because we did it in Armageddon. Now we have to do it here because, get it? The Justice League, they come together.
Yep. Oh, that's a perverted. I got it.
Ooh.
That works well with my mom, who just said, or a birthday suit when you stay up late. So, there you go. Everybody's a pervert.
Rose is fine. Moving on.
Everybody's a pervert tonight. Great. Anyway, Justice League Snyder Cut. Yay or nay, whether you love it or hate it, it's coming. It's not going to be taking away. It's definitely going to be there, and whether you want to see it or not, it's going to be 4 hours long. I'm going to watch it.
4 hours.
Julio's going to watch it. Kevin's going to watch it. Darren's probably going to watch it. We're all going to watch it. You're probably going to watch it. Those viewing are going to watch it. It's just something that's going to happen. Now, Kevin, we have some exciting programming coming up next week, I believe. Did you want to talk about that real quick?
Yes, it's something I always wanted to do since we started the podcast. I wanted to do an episode discussing movies that never got made.
Repeat that again, sorry.
Yeah,
I said do an episode on comic book movies that got canceled or just simply never got made. They got cut off somewhere in development, never got the green light. There's some very exciting ones. Now, one I already mentioned earlier, and that's the Justice League from George Miller, which I thought would have been very interesting. Would have came out about 14 years ago or so at this point. I think like back in 2007 when it was originally scheduled to come out.
So this kind of ties into this week's a little bit.
Yeah.
We're branching off from that. We're talking about films that could have been made that were not. So Kevin's going to drop a lot of knowledge on us for next week. Julio, real quick, are you going to be playing the Snyder Cut at the shop at Week in Be Heroes? Is that something that you're going to do like after hours or something?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. If you guys want to do that, I'm totally down to do that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Julio's going to possibly do that. So if you go into the shop, you might be playing that. Also, you have some great sales coming up here, if I'm correct.
Oh, can't wait. Wednesday, we're doing our new segment called Two Guys, One Box. And I usually do it with my partner, Will, at the store. We did our first one last week. But Will is going to be out this Wednesday, and I got a brand new co-host for this one. It's my man, Donald, right here. Is going to be helping me out. So it's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be an exciting time. We're going to have a lot of fun doing that for sure. And so
what time on Wednesday?
Those that are...
It's at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock on the We Can Be Heroes Instagram page. So if you're not following them on Instagram, please feel free to do so. You'll see myself and Julio shilling some good wares, some fun comic books that'll be for sale.
We do a lot of sales, but what's really cool about this, it's books that we're going through a whole bunch of collections that we haven't gone through the whole entire year, and we're pulling stuff out that we really enjoy and making just one short box. We put this whole entire short box. Every book is random. It's all different. It's just stuff that we love and we know very well that it's very cheap stuff too. There's nothing too crazy in there. There's not. I think last week we had one book that was $100 that was in that box. But rest of it was $5, $10, $20 stuff, and it's actually really good stuff, high grade, really fun stuff you don't see very often.
Right.
And then we'll put up some new books from that week, that Wednesday. So
like he had the first comic magazine appearance of Mario from Mario Brothers last week. That was really cool.
Because it was his birthday.
Yeah,
it was his birthday. That was great.
It's a real cool sale, Kevin. I can't wait for next week's episode. Movies that were supposed to be made and never made. Sort of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with Megan Fox. Oh, wait a minute.
Got made. Yeah.
There's a lot of turtle bashing going on right here. I don't like that.
Well, those movies were pretty bad, let's be honest. We did get Rocksteady and Bebop like we wanted, but not like we wanted, Like, I don't know how many people when they were kids saw the poster for Toko and Razor and was like, this is what Rocksteady and Bebop's going to look like? This is weird.
Hey, Toko and Razor made their first appearance just a little while ago for the first time ever in comic book form. What is it? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 110. So they're in continuity now.
Yeah. So they're big players now officially.
Ooh, yeah, I like it.
So thank you guys. Thanks, Julio, for being a part of this. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're going to be winding down now. We just want to thank you guys, the audience, for being here and participating, and for listening in and being active and asking questions and comments and things like that. We always appreciate that. We do this live podcast every Monday, usually. Sometimes we take a week off, but we try to do it every Monday, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Usually ends around 9 or 9:30 p.m. Pacific time. So we do it for an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes, just depending on the material, how active we are, how active the audience is, and whether we have enough to say or when we should end it. If everybody's still crazy going, mad and having a good time, we'll extend it a little bit longer. But today's a good time to wrap this up, particularly because I feel like trash. So that's a good time to wrap this up. Benadryl's really kicking in now, so it's going to be nap time for me at some point. We do have all of our podcasts available on YouTube on the page for Rumble Spoon Productions. You can find them there. They're all audio. We have some video, some fun little shorts that we did. We did an Iron Fist short with Jarrett, who's part of the Real Short Box a little while back. It was totally fun. A little skit with that. We do have our audio podcast available on Spotify. Darren's favorite.
Sprecher.
Kevin's favorite.
Are we still on iTunes?
It's Apple Podcasts, but close.
Sorry, Apple Pod. I said iTunes. Apple Pod.
Yeah, it's fine. You're just showing your age. It's okay. It's cool. It's cool. And all the rest, tune in and yada, yada, yada. We're Blueberry, all those. You can find us. If you can't find us, reach out to us. And if you don't see us anytime soon, perhaps in the near future, we will see you
at the righteous, precious, valuable, homely comic book shop.
Good night, everybody.